are something to need just like come over here with the mahogany wood. These drums are just
It's great.
we got drums. Yeah, that's okay. Good.
These are really a nicely crafted drum. Like if you look in the bottom of those drums, you look in the horn, on these ones, you see how they've gone in and recarved them? Yep, exactly. And they're trying to mimic, as opposed to Elizabeth's drum, which is just turned right. Exactly.
I believe they're turned as well.
They are. That's right. In fact, anybody who tells you there's a hand-carved drum is lying to your face.
My personal one I play is hand carved.
Well, there you go. You can say that. Hi. But generally speaking, they're all on a lathe and then they're finished. Hi, come on in. I'm Roger.
Hi, I'm
Keitha. Look, there's your seat right there.
Yeah.
Now, did you call
No.
earlier? Okay. Okay. Somebody called in their hotel room where they're staying somebody tried to break into it. And so they got a bit of a fiasco going on and just said they're going to be a bit late. So that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. So we've just been waiting patiently for everybody to arrive, but we've been talking about drums. And you're welcome to now say, hey, what drum can I play? Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Yeah, you can pick one. And we're going to shake it up over the weekend, right? That get people like share drums, because if you do have an interest in eventually finding a drum that works for you, you'll want to try these, right? And just see if they fit and if they feel good. But yeah, we were just talking about, some of the things that make a better quality drum. And we were looking at like these ones here. They're called a Proces. They have 3 rings, for example, on the top. Do you see how the skin is on the inside of the rope? But here, it's coming up and it's
2 skins on 2.
That's right, yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, it prevents slippage, for one thing. And even here, you can sort of see on my drum here, you see how it's a bit tipped a little bit. And I've had drums, I could show you one, that the ring, because I've had it for 20 years, and it literally goes like this because it's bent. Still works. So it's just an indicator of a better crafted instrument that you have 3 rings that give you that support. Does it mean that if you find the drum that sounds right for you and you love it, that you shouldn't buy it because it's only got 2 rings? No, I play a 2-ring drum. It's just a sign that, hey, that's a nicely crafted drum. The other thing you want to look for, even to the degree I think we can see it, see how close those knots are on these drums?
Mm-hmm.
And then look at this one, and they're a little wider. And that's all an indicator, again, of just quality. That takes more rope and it makes a more even pull on the drum head. This one, of course, has mechanical tightening, and that can be really sweet because you don't have to learn how to tighten your drum. You take a wrench and tighten your drum. However, the other side of it is it makes the drum a little heavier, and for me, and still not that heavy.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Rather than.
Oh yeah, this thing's like, and I guess the lugs on the side, for me, I just find them uncomfortable when you're holding the drum and stuff. So what does that mean? I don't know. You're always a trade-off, right? It's functional, easy. You'll never have a hassle replacing the skin. You won't have to pay anybody to do it, like me, thousands of dollars.
Behind.
Yeah, exactly. This is where I've arrived after 30 years back doing what I did at the very beginning, which is repair drums. Yeah, and I'm grateful. It puts a little bit of money in my pocket. So,
Where did you get your stems from?
now I basically get them from yeah,
You need to
Yeah.
table them a little bit.
perfect.
Oh, yes.
We like that.
Actually, that's great.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. And we'll just make a little space. Nice. Easy.
Listen.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Hello. Bring it in. Bring it in.
We got ready-made shirt.
And let's see here. That's great where you are. And then do we take one right out, eh? But you still, do we? So Steve has got a chair. Did we? Everything's good? All right. I'm Roger.
Oh, see.
You, Melissa, and Mike. Awesome. Nice to meet you both. Thanks. So we'll figure out some action, how you can have your drum. Do you have you done this before? Do you have a strategy? Okay.
I usually am not in a wheelchair, so
Okay. All right. So this isn't. This isn't
ideal.
yeah. Well, I wasn't going to say that. I was just saying this is a temporary situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Okay.
Need a chair.
Okay.
Then
There, if he wants to do it. If you didn't mind the bro. Well,
okay. Well, this is what I'm going to suggest.
Can we break it today?
No. I had to wait a week for surgeries. Also, I don't think 3 weeks. Yeah.
And you broke your ankle.
Ew, looks like it. I broke my knee and my teeth.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord. Is there a good story?
No.
Not even.
I was learning how to dirt bike, and honestly, I wasn't really going fast or anything. It's just kind of a fluke thing where the bike was leaning into me, and I clearly don't have the best leg. So,
Well, but when it happens, right? Yeah. It can be easy. It can be easy to have it happen. So what I'm envisioning here
oh yeah,
is
probably. You know what? I can move these to the side because I'm able to put my leg on the ground a little bit now that I have a new cast.
okay, because otherwise, what I often do is just you could leave it right there. That's okay. That's fine. So right, and I'm gonna sometimes what I do with people is I put them on their
Yeah.
supports, right? But in your case, it's a little different. So that should work. And this drum, you don't need to tip it. So it's got these holes in it.
Perfect.
So I think that'll work for you. All right. You're welcome. All right. We had 2 people drop out because they're sick, which I'm grateful for them, being considerate and saying, I don't want to get everybody sick, but it
that way.
it means that we're just a bit smaller group. And our friends are out there in Zoom land. Are we seeing a few of you? Hello. Hello. Oh, it's so crazy, this digital world we live in. All right.
I'm guessing the last person that's the audience doing was the break.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's get started here. Awesome. Okay. And as are all of our Zoomers, have they arrived?
you said right after that. Everybody said they're going to be a Alex.
Okay. Awesome. Few housekeeping things, I guess. The washroom, just into our house, down our stairs, right by the lap pool, turn left at the tennis courts. And you'll see the bathroom there anyway. Just walk across the. So please, whenever you need to, go use that. We have some coffee. We have some water. There's some tea. If you need refreshments at any time, just help yourself. Right. What am I missing?
There's 2 cats don't want them.
Oh yes. When you go into our house, please don't let our ferocious forest cats out. We don't want them terrorizing the neighborhood. So it's embarrassing. I thought the pit bulls were a problem. Awesome. All right. So I always like to start with just getting to know each other a little bit. So I'm just going to invite us all to just share how you got here. I don't mean literally how you got here, like in a wheelchair. But your path, what you've been doing from a drumming perspective, and what led you to have an interest in the workshop, what experience do you have, and then what you hope to take home, what your application is, or where you can see working with this. And we'll just share that information, get to know each other a little bit, and we'll include our Zoom people on it. So I'm going to go like this. Whoosh, and I'm going to go to Keitha, and I go, "Hi, Keitha, I'm Roger." And you get to tell us a story.
Through all the things, and when you said, I'll have a bit of time.
And you know what? I was picking up on that. I went, oh no.
So my name is Keitha Tetro. I am a teacher. I teach out in Trochu, Alberta.
Oh, no way. We've been to Trochu.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful out town.
Saw it last summer for the first time. Lived here all my life. Trochu.
World's largest golf tee on the golf course. So, yeah. So I took a teaching job out there, my very first teaching job 14 years ago.
Wow.
Doing drama and grade 1 and like 2 and 3 and 4. Now I'm in a 5-6 split class, and I'm doing elementary music. I know tons about choir and about vocals because I did musical theater growing up, but instruments are new to me. And so my mom gave me a djembe drum to show me some fun things, because she did like One World something in her class.
Oh, mate.
I just fell in love with it. So I used it in my music class. I'm like, the only instrument that I know, I think I can play it. And so I loved that. And I got asked to do music again this year. So I figured I'd like to learn more about how to play it in different ways. And I love this idea of bringing these drums into my school, providing that for multiple grades.
So do you have drums?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. There's just so much more going on than music class with the drums, man. My mantra is get them out of the music department, right? And I only say that because as the music teacher, you have this opportunity to use them to do all kinds of great work to, help these kids foster relationships. They have determined that if you're the kids, the little guys, you're in 5-6, but the little guys, if they have trouble with rhythm, they're going to have trouble reading. There's a connection there. And it's partially all of the articulation, all the small muscles, all that have to go into making that sound. And if they're out of sequence, if the timing isn't right, if the rhythm's not right, then you have a speech impediment, right? So wonderful, as well as just bringing people into that high success outcome, right? Because drums give that, If you've taught recorder, it's not as high success. So I'm excited. This is so made for you. Yeah, fantastic. Melissa. Oh no, I'm sorry. I do this last time because now I'm at the Zoomers, right? So who's first?
Let me bring Jill up for...
Hi, Jill. Can you tell us all about yourself?
I can. I am Jill, and I am in the Fraser Valley of BC in Chilliwack. And I met you, Roger and Carrie, in 2019 at your class.
Okay.
Had zero
Hi, come on.
experience with drumming, zero, and showed up, and you guys were so wonderful. And I came home with 8 drums.
Nice.
Yep. And
so,
drum.
So you're using them.
We have, it took a little while to get it going, but we have an established drum group, drum circle here in Chilliwack with fluctuates between about 8 and 12 people. We do it at my house, so we don't have to worry about, finding venues, and we bring food and we drum and we have a blast. And it's
awesome.
Just amazing. So I was really excited to come back and kind of get myself tuned up. So I still can't talk and drum. As a hard time facilitating. So I'm hoping to work on that this weekend.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I love your honesty. The first time I ever taught, I was like, and still am, full disclosure, 2 steps ahead of my students, right? I was just learning and we'd be drumming along and I'd go, okay, now we're going to end. Ready, 1. And that would be it. I'd be off into the ditch rhythmically, right? So I really appreciate what you're saying.
I can take down a group in no time. Just give it out.
Well, it's kind of like that saying, what did mother say? I brought you into this world, I can take you out.
Absolutely.
Well, good to meet you again. And yeah, you're going to be our veteran.
All right.
There you go. Awesome. And you took that 2 years ago.
Oh, I can figure out.
2019.
Wow. Even longer. Thank you. Thank you, Joe.
All right, we're going to bring Tony into our business for everybody. Hi, Tony.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Well, just a little bit about myself. I am a clinical social worker in Shelby, North Carolina, in the United States. And while I am a musician in my spare time, brass instruments just do not translate over into a therapeutic situation. So I left my French horn and the trumpet at home, and I brought the drum instead.
Awesome.
So I'm hoping to incorporate not just for my clients, but some drum circles in our community, just for fun and interesting things to do in our community.
Yeah, build community.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. And the clients you have, broad range. Are they adolescents? Are they?
Typically, I work with. I have a specialty in addictions and trauma, and but I do work with mostly adults.
Okay, awesome. And have you done any kind of music exercises at all with your drum, or is this is the launch point?
This is the launching point. Yes.
Fantastic. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, you're going to learn lots of ideas that I think will work really well for you.
Great. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Tony.
We're going to bring Cindy up.
And Tony's in North Carolina? I want to go there one day.
Hello, everyone. Hear me okay? Or is there an echo?
Echo.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm using these new earphones. So full disclosure, it's almost 10 p.m. EST my time, and the family is sound asleep. So I'm hiding out in a cabin right now on my property. So to make this happen in terms of the time difference. So just a brief introduction about myself. I live in the Blue Mountain area, which is 2 hours north of the city of Toronto. The last 15 years, I've been a child development, child psychology professor. Prior to that, 10 years before that, I was working in the social service industry. So just currently, I launched a wellness and nature retreat. Hence one of my cabins. I'm hiding in one of the cabins on the land right now for some privacy and noise prevention. So I launched this business a few years back, and I am currently back in school studying yet another master's degree, this time in psychotherapy. So in counseling psychology, pivoting into psychotherapy. So my hope essentially is to embed a lot of just like holistic and somatic modalities into my practice.
Fantastic. Where are you?
So I'm in the Blue Mountain. So it's in Ontario. It's Blue Mountain is the Collingwood area. So it's 2 hours north of Toronto.
Yeah, where people go skiing.
That's right. So we're a very tourist kind of attraction. So we generally attract a lot of people. So I have an 80-acre property. So the people that generally come here are looking for a place to heal, and they're looking for essentially nature therapy.
It
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
is very cool. Have you done any? So are you? I didn't catch. Are you have a background in music at all?
So I play the alto saxophone. And so just like Tony, I'm like, that, you can't really bring in those, those types of instruments. They don't really help the central nervous system. So I did live in Africa for quite some time. I was in East Africa for 3 years working out there, and I fell in love with drumming. That's where I think fell in love with the actual instrument. I have no ability whatsoever, full disclosure, in terms of my skill. I have no skill in terms of playing the drums. So this is all very new to me. But from an observer standpoint, I've been observing for many, many years.
Yeah. Well, cool. Where in Africa?
I was in Tanzania.
Okay.
Tanzania.
Awesome. So East Africa.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. And I'm sorry, I didn't write your name down.
So it's Cinzia, but you're more than welcome to call me Cynthia. Cinzia is my Italian name for Cynthia.
Okay. I like it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cynthia. Mamma mia, pizzeria.
Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi, everyone. Like Cynthia, I am also on the East Coast, so it's 10 p.m. here in northeastern Pennsylvania, in the United States. And I am also a clinical social worker. I provide mental health support to a large agency here in Pennsylvania that does Head Start programs. So we have 67 preschool classrooms, and I'm looking into more of the use of drumming, and I do not have a music background, but I know the benefit of music therapy. And in looking at ways to help these little ones regulate and learn how to regulate their emotions, because post-COVID, we're seeing a lot of little ones coming into a social setting and not knowing how to regulate themselves and regulate their emotions. And our teachers are struggling to find ways to help them do that. And there's actually a gentleman who works with conscious discipline, which is an emotional social curriculum that we're working with, who has brought percussion into emotional regulation. And he actually designed a program where there's music and there's drumming that is helping to prevent children from being suspended. So instead of in-school suspension, they have a calming and recovery environment that includes percussion. So I wanted to do that and bring that into our programs for our little ones and really kind of give us something else outside the box. So here I am.
Very nice. When I hear this kind of stuff, from all of you and more to come, it really gives me some hope for how we're managing children compared to how we did manage children, right? Like my connection is with Whole Services, who deliver here in our part of the world. They're a nonprofit organization that delivers social services on behalf of the government. And they're changing their whole pedagogy from the psychology of Skinner and carrot and stick. And they have a way more sophisticated way of trying to deal with, and these kids that they're dealing with are at the end of the rope, right? Like they're going to jail or they're going somewhere bad because that's where they're at. And the work they're doing with these new ways, brain mapping, when was the trauma, how did it happen, what's the intervention we need, it's just wonderful compared to, okay, I'm going to whack you on the head if you're bad, and I'm going to give you a carrot if you're good. I don't think so. It never worked for me. So wonderful, wonderful. I know you're going to take home a lot of ideas and skills. Yeah, fantastic.
You're like, but that's too. You're 15 half.
All right, Melissa, you're on.
My name's Melissa. I'm a registered nurse by trade. Currently working like day clinics in neuroscience,
Cool.
the K clinic in Edmonton. So just working with an epilepsy clinic right now. But on a personal note, musically, I'm able to play the piano. I don't play it as often as I usually should, but I did play a lot growing up. It's something I really enjoy and something I found a good way to and still now. I don't have any experience really with the drums. I've sat in on a few kind of like sound back.
Yeah. How were those?
They were different. Really, really.
Yeah.
They're a little bit different too because it's kind of like a first introduction to it like during COVID. So I like that I'm able to be here. But I guess why me and my husband are here today is because personally I've had a lot of trauma and grief in the last while. Lost our daughter to planning a on-site survivors retreat in July this year, and you want to be able to provide a gunning service.
What did you call that? Homicide?
Called, I can give you the Instagram, but it's in honor of my daughter.
Sure.
Everything Butterfly Hearts, but it's called Butterfly Hearts Emotional Wellness Retreat. Wow.
Nice.
So this
Be proactive, right? You know, make a difference.
Having our first one this year, and my husband organized a big, huge fundraiser to and organized a massive fundraiser, and that was just last weekend, and we were able to raise over $20,000.
Oh,
for this retreat and then future.
Sure.
Yeah, so
beautiful.
To start to help homicide survivors because we're kind of always victims in the judicial.
Oh yeah.
Have everything support. So
sure.
And I've already jammed up and hoping.
Yeah, I can just imagine how complex that is. So many layers, right? Personal layers, how the government deals with, how the judicial, everything. It must just be, yeah, nice. Kudos. So you will be doing drum circles at the end of this. No question. Yeah, beautiful. Melissa and Mike.
That's right. So also taking trauma and personal. So with that just love it. Yeah. All this, but
yeah. So Bella is the name of your daughter? Bella. Okay, beautiful. What a tribute. And I'm just so interested because, working out is such a profound way to mitigate anxiety, depression. There's so much work coming out now. My son deals with some of these issues, and since he has started working out, he's much better.
And then look out a while.
Oh, after my yeah.
So I think
yes, encouraged her, supported her.
So
And your body remembers that trauma. It's like really hard to have your heart racing.
Oh yeah.
the body
That
comes out weird ways.
Yeah.
And so much more like Gabor Mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you guys know Zoom folks out there? You know Gabor Mate? I think that's his name.
If we got them sounds up,
He's bringing that forward over and over again. So awesome. Very excited. Vikram.
Hi, my name's Vikram Gill. Just first off, great, so nice. Good to see you guys here every night. So I'm off calling here. It was smooth, inspiring for me. I'm from the West Coast as well. This is yeah, West Coast, yeah. You can ask the U.S. And I like a few others, just got to see personal transformations myself, changing careers, gone through personal kind of recovery of my own, and made some changes in every career. And come back to school, and I started working in the mental health and substance use treatment. So I worked through an organization called the Phoenix Society, out in Mainland there, and directly we have work in the treatment center where young adults and adults who have mental health. So it's been about 2 years working there, and in the past, as a child, I grew up playing the tabla, which is this kind of percussion.
Right.
Always loved it. I always wanted to be in music class, but just small town down here, not fluid.
Yeah.
It was I always loved it. So as I went through this journey the last couple of years, I got myself an electric drum set at the Phoenix Society, and you've got this building which is about 4 times the size of this, and it's a music theater. And it's got everything. It's got maybe about drum bass, things that every instrument you get asked for, and I always go in every year and sessions they died, and it just practice up there. So I started to collect a whole bunch of percussion instruments. I followed my little job, and then I don't know just how the internet and everything works, but all of a sudden one drum started showing up on my internet, and I'm like, hey, I want to try this out. And I ran it by my boss, and I'm like, hey, send a note.
Nice.
You can use this to pass this along to our treatment program. And
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's the other bonus. And when you're working in a you can share it with other staff members, because when you're talking about institutions, it's getting consistency and longevity. If somebody leaves, you hate to leave the whole program in the lurch, right? So the more, and these manuals are exactly like, this is a formula we're going to learn. Like, it's a formula. It's all the manner in which I spent the last 30 years solving problems. Well, that didn't work, in schools, in hospitals, working with, pretty severely disabled students that, they literally have no means to actually communicate their rhythm. What do you do, right? If they can't physically hit the drum, all these little things that I just bumped up against. And so really, I've distilled it down to a program that doesn't matter where you go, whether you're doing corporate work, whether you're doing hospitals, seniors, this formula will allow you to find a piece that will work for this crowd. And so that's very exciting. But on top of that, you can share it. You can say to somebody, I'm out of here. Here's the manual. Work with me for a week. You know what I mean? To keep that consistency and stuff, because it's really important. Thank you, Bikram. Glad you flew out here.
So the mics are picking everybody up. If you could speak a little louder, that'd be awesome. Everybody on doing that.
Okay.
We'll yell at you. Stephen.
All right, I'm Stephen. I'm from Vancouver Island. That's my shirt. I've been playing drums, I guess, for probably since I was a little kid, really. I've grown up with ADHD and some other mental health stuff that I've learned about lately, and it's certainly helped me through my life. And but I didn't really realize how much it had helped. And I'm doing a lot of research right now because I've started a company for percussive elements drumming.
Oh,
bring this to help people with their to seniors' homes, to youth, to adults, just anybody, right? And I keep getting drawn to do drum circles, and I've played African drum bass for probably about 30 years. I've been taught with Abubakar, came from West Africa, Lazo, who's from Montreal, but he's West African as well. And so I've had some really good training from some really great mentors, one of which lives with me in Nanaimo. And we've played in bands a couple times together in different African type drumming bands and things. And it's just always been such a rounding outlet. And I love seeing, I've been teaching mountain biking and I'm cycling coach too. And seeing the aha moments in people is really feeling like I'm stepping a little bit away from my bike coaching because I feel like this is a bigger purpose and it can help people on a larger scale. So that's why I'm here. I just want to learn more about the therapeutic qualities of this. I just read a PubMed thing today on, the effects of mental health and how it can increase the anti-inflammatory.
From you read which?
A study on PubMed.org.
PubMed. Okay. I thought you said Club Med. And I was going, I'll go. We can help those poor people.
Yeah. That's
all right. And so the drumming you've done is traditional. And these people were from where?
West Africa
Mostly. So Senegal, Nigeria.
Senegal and Nigeria.
Okay. So awesome. So you have this grounding in traditional style rhythms. That's
learning more about the native traditions as well. That's really intriguing to me.
Yeah.
But I've also been doing sound baths with my partner, and she's a sound therapist too.
Okay.
I'll be better at.
Yeah. I know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and what we're going to be doing here, Stephen, all your traditional training will really stand you in good stead from a drum skill, but these are what I'm using here. Obviously, I'm using them with kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, right up. So they really, for much of what we do, are just essential drum patterns you're going to find over and over again. So you're going to go, oh yeah, I know that. Oh yeah, I know that. That's in that rhythm. So it's great. You have that background, but yeah. Simplicity is, yeah, exactly.
Like not try to make people play a rhythm. Just play some sound on that thing.
You're already there. Yeah, you're already there. Fantastic. Chris.
Yeah, I'm Chris. I'm from Calgary. I've been a mental health therapist for 20 years now there. A lot of my work was in child and adolescent. That was my focus throughout my career, I guess. And from that time, it's been in oncology and so the cancer world. But over the last probably 10 plus years, I've just been in mental health outpatient clinics. And so currently at a outpatient clinic here in Calgary. So we see kids that just are coming out of hospital or, so kind of a tough, spot. I think I've been kind of a therapist that's always kind of sort of went against the grain, like sort of the traditional therapy. So we're often outside walking and spending as much time we can outside and enjoying that kind of work. I do not have any experience in music or drumming. A good colleague of mine is running a drum circle in our clinic in the fall. And so she would love me to co-facilitate that group. So I'm all for it.
And the universe came along and said, guess what? You're coming.
It's really funny just even listening to all of you. Like it's just, I didn't realize how
yeah, how that all really came together until we were sitting here talking like this, and it really has. So thanks. I'm looking forward.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, just universal symmetry, I guess. Fantastic. Thank you, Chris. And I'm excited to work with you and Tobias, because I've said to Tobias, what we'll do is figure out what your goals are. And this would be true for any of us here, but particularly in a institutional or therapeutic setting, to figure out, okay, this is my outcome I'm looking for. I have 10 sessions with these patients, these kids, these adolescents, or whatever. A little different if you're in a school, right? But same kind of thing. And work with, okay, here's the outcome I want, and work with Toby and you to say, okay, so here's what I do drumming wise. And for the second class, you want to find, you know what I mean? And figure out how we can dovetail the drumming into the program that you're running anyway. Up till now, I do it in the reverse. We say these are our drum goals, so that we can come to a place to either do a little performance or do a sharing to our community, or however that looks, but we could reverse that. And I think it would be very good, and this would be true for any of you that are working up a program that's specific to your own client base and patients, and see if we can dovetail what we do in the protocol to specifically what you're teaching. So nice.
Mine is a little more short and sweet.
That's all right. We like sweet. We like sweet.
You know what's sweet. My name's Elizabeth. I am going through also change in career. I was in healthcare before I moved away out of country. I was gone for 11 years. Came back about 2.5 years.
Where'd you go?
Netherlands.
Nice.
11 years. So
were you nursing there?
No, because I had to do everything.
Right.
So I did do other employment while I was there, came back, but because I was gone for too long, I would have had to do.
No way.
So I am, in a career change. I work with seniors again, but doing activities, like learning nature activities. So I would like to bring the program to the seniors. Yeah. And that's my story.
I was saying to Elizabeth, out of all the populations I've dealt with, in my case, I was dealing with, dementia and Alzheimer's, but they were the hardest population I've ever worked with. Take orangutan adolescents going off there, but so I think that just is respect. Respect. But it will do amazing things. I mean, we know this, right? Alzheimer's and dementia and seniors, they hear music and they've been in a coma, and they hear their old songs, and they come to the surface, and suddenly they can remember things, and they're singing the songs, and they're much more focused for a period of time afterwards. It's not just when the song's on. They're actually around for a while before they disappear under the veil, so to speak. So absolutely good. Janice.
I have a history with music. I started playing the violin when I was 4.
I'll say.
But then I stopped when I was probably 12 and started playing the clarinet, and then it was the flute. Then I hadn't played the violin in a long time, but I actually had a horseback riding accident where I broke my right arm, and I've had concussions and different neurological issues, and I actually found I relearned how to use my hand playing the clarinet. So that was really helpful. And then I'm not able to play either of those right now because I have a neurological issue that affects my face. But I attended a therapeutic drumming circle, actually, and my dad has always been a musician, and he played the drums, he played all of the saxophones except for one, I think,
Right.
to play the violin. He has like a full music room set up. And I actually bought him a mini like djembe on his birthday, the day he found out he had cancer. And so I attended the drum training the one day of it through a different organization. But it was actually 2 days after a celebration of life. So it was like it's been a really helpful and healing thing for me. And like, just, it's just been amazing. And so I'm from Lethbridge, and I haven't found any drum circles down there. So I'm hoping to kind of get something started up down
Nice. Good for you. That's the best way. If you can't find it,
there.
create it yourself. I like that, Jen. That's awesome.
Recently had a career change. I graduated from passing my CP for the CPA program, and then now I'm thinking about more going into therapeutic recreation. I never actually completed my experience. I withdrew from the program, so I'm
Nice. That's great. It's never too late to say, yeah, I'm changing direction. I have a lot of respect, especially if you're pretty entrenched in what you're doing, have done it for a lot of years, and there's a comfort zone there, right? And suddenly circumstances come and prevail, or your own inner workings are saying, I gotta do something different or I'm gonna die here. I respect people that really step into the fold, right? And say, okay, I'm gonna go and become I don't know, whatever, right? I love it. Okay. This is wonderful because there's a lot of direct therapeutic application from all of you sitting here, and that's exciting for me. It's not that that's always the case. There's always therapeutic application. I don't know why I'm saying that, but just this as a very focused, everybody has a pretty focused place and outcome that they're wanting, which is wonderful. All right. Okay. Let's talk. Let's talk about this therapy thing. Our Zoom people have had their manuals for a while, so no giving it away out there. You guys are just receiving your manuals. That's all right. I love this because this is where the mystical meets the science, right? This is where music and drumming has been going on forever. And I love this sort of reductive idea about what we're working with, which is sound. And sound is one of the most powerful. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it is the source of all things, right? And we see this in the Bible. First, there was the word, sound, right? The Australians, the Aboriginals talk about great totemic beings that walked out of the ocean and named things into existence. That's their creation myth. Sound. What do we have? Big Bang Theory. Creation. Sound. It is Hindus. They encapsulate the entire universe into one sound. Om. It is sound is really pervasive in everything. And now what do? We do ultrasound, right? We use sound for all kinds of medical things. Can be as debilitating as it can be helpful, right? You can really cover the scope. So I like that. I like the fact that it has this very old aspect to the use of sound. And it's so ubiquitous for us, we've really stopped thinking about sound. We hear it everywhere. We're on our earbuds, we're hearing, you know what I mean? Can you imagine being a native on the prairies here, and the only sound you ever heard was the sound you made or the sound somebody else made? It would be really something to sit around and make music. It would be a drum would be whoa, right? So I really honor the fact that we're working. Why is it therapeutic? Well, one, we're working with a fundamental, powerful aspect of all humanity. It's like Stephen Hawking. He describes string theory as like having a cello. And if you excite one string, it causes the other strings to start to vibrate. And that vibration is the source of innumerable, infinite, possible universes. Okay. That's a little scary that that's what we're working with here, but all right, So never doubt yourself in terms of what you can bring just by using the instrument. You don't have to be particularly skilled to benefit from or to share with that profound amount of power with sound, using it. Why? That's my question. Why? Why do we have music? Right? We're the only animal, really, that perceives music. Right? There's some cockatoos that can bounce up and down, and they're pretty rhythmically connected, but I'm not ready to say that's music, right? But they have a set, but that's it. Outside of that, that's it. So anthropologists and evolutionary psychologists, all of this is in your book. Everything. In fact, for the most part, that's good. That's all right. No, Melissa, that's cool. That's cool. But sometimes we're, yeah. In fact, I'll share with everybody, everything I do for the next 2 days is so verbatim in that manual. So as much as possible, ask questions, make extra notes, but I'm hoping we can sort of be in experiential mode and not be needing to do that. And that's part of the reason for the manuals, because then you can go home and go, no, what the hell did he say?
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, something diagnosing are perfect.
Yeah, lots of support. So as much as possible, same with my Zoom folk out there, it allows you to be really engaged in what we're doing. So there's a wonderful book, Daniel Levitin, and I encourage you, Daniel Levitin, to find it, read it. It's called The World in 6 Songs. His first book is This Is Your Brain on Music, playing on the old, this is your brain on drugs. And he's a fascinating guy. He's the big head in McGill University in music studies, the science of music. And
There is my thesis that's a very bad stuff you want to write down.
Oh, yeah, perfect. It's good to have the editor and publisher here. She knows things about this thing that I just don't know. And so what's fascinating to me is, why did we retain the ability to make music? How did it serve us from an evolutionary standpoint, right? Our tails fell off because they didn't work for us anymore. Why did we have this ability to make music and hear music and understand all the complex relationships that allow us to hear music? And so some of the ideas, well, first of all, there's 2 schools of thought. Did we sing before we spoke? Which came first? And it's not decided. Those 2 schools are still, people travel down that road as an anthropologist or travel down this road as an evolutionary psychologist. So they don't really know. But some of the suggestions are, for example, if you could sing a love song to your mate, and then you go off to war, you could leave an emotional connection with that person over time and distance that maybe would allow you to come back and find your mate and your family intact because you've maintained that emotional bond, and maybe that would move your genes forward. So maybe that would be a reason to retain this ability. If we move together as one, if we move together and dance as one, if we sing as one, it makes us have to acknowledge the other. And in acknowledging the other, is the possibility of accessing empathy, compassion, connection. And maybe this allowed us to live in ever greater numbers together by reducing our aggression. So this is another theory. And certainly our current status as the top predator in the food chain comes from this fact that we live in these huge numbers, right? That's what allowed us to do what we wanted to do. So they have all these different ideas around why this would have happened for us and that we've retained this ability to make music. Do you know you've never heard a song? Sit with that for a moment. You've never heard a song. You've never heard a whole song. You've never heard a whole song. Does that make any sense, even if you're in Zoom land? Let me explain so you don't think I've totally gone bingo bongo, okay? Your ear is only picking up the air pressure from the sound as it comes in as a sound wave, and it hits your ear. And you're only ever hearing that particular sound pressure or frequency or sound wave at the moment that it hits your ear. So music happens over time. It's probably one of the only artistic sort of expressions that are like that. A picture's a picture. You see it, boom, it's right there. But this happens over time. Okay, so how does that happen? Well, the current theories are you have a memory of what you've heard, you're hearing what currently is hitting your ear, and your brain models what it expects to hear. And at the end of the song, it's your brain that is creating this belief, this modeled idea that you've heard the whole song. Isn't that amazing? That is a lot of brain power. That is a lot of gray matter at work. So that's why I think that we are some of the only creatures that understand music, because it takes a lot. It takes more brain power to activate your audio center, your oral nerve, than any other sense. Sight, sound, sight, taste, touch. Sound is the biggest consumer of the CPU in your brain. Okay, it makes a kind of sense when you begin to, how in the world can we hear a sound 4 blocks away and our brain models it, hears it, and comes back and says, oh, that's a dog. It ignores the sirens, it ignores the cars, it's able to hear that and say it's a dog, and it's a little dog. Amazing, because it's only a sound wave hitting your ear. That's it. That's all it is. So pretty profound, right? Pretty profound. So they did a study in Texas at the Primate Care Institute. And they have these orangutans and chimpanzees that they're studying. And most of these, as I understand it, have been recovered from, people who've got exotic animals, and the chimpanzee grew too big and started to bend the bars on the cage. So they said, let's give it away to the research center. Or they've been taken from places that the habitat is compromised. They have these apes ordering off of an iPad for their food. Okay, sounds like literacy to me. They play games. Well, if they match these icons on two sides fast enough, they get a treat. So they're playing games on iPods or iPads. So this very astute researcher said, hey, I wonder what the playlist of a orangutan is. She stopped and backed up a step or two and said, first I think that we should see if they even perceive music. So she took a country song and she cut it up digitally on a computer and then messed it all up. Broke all the relationships that make us hear the music, and it just played back as garbage, right? She took that, and she took the song properly presented in its entirety, and said, put it into the enclosure with the apes, and they would play one or the other, and they would see whether that ape would make the choice to turn it off. In all cases, it didn't really seem to matter whether it was the noise or whether it was the song. They chose to turn it off, which suggests either that they don't really perceive a difference between the noise or the music, that was just both not pleasant, or my other theory is they don't like country music. More study on that. So it seems even our closest cousins don't have this capacity. So somewhere it is something really unique to us as human beings, and everybody has it. Not everybody will play music. Not everybody may be adept at playing music, but everybody can hear the difference when a beat is coming too quickly or too slow. We have incredible timing. I forget what it is, but it's up to like 1/100th of a second difference in something. We hear it, we know it, So somehow that's probably served us as well in our evolution. So all of this is pointing to, when I say, well, drumming is therapeutic, these are, to me, the underlying things is it's unique to us, it's profound, it's a powerful source of change and impact sound has for us. So we're working with some really cool stuff, and it doesn't mean that you have to really know how to deliver it to get the benefit from it. Okay? All right. Let's talk about what we're going to do in the next days. No, let's talk about the brain before we leave it. We'll talk more about it later. So, you guys know Dr. Bruce Perry? You know him? Of him? No? If you don't, you're going to walk out of here and go, some of your colleagues are going to go, hey, you ever hear of Bruce Perry? You go, Jesus, that drum guy just mentioned him. He runs the Trauma Institute, the Child Trauma Institute of Texas. And he has a unique connection here because his wife is from Canmore. And so for us, this won't mean anything to you guys, but 20 years ago, he was part of rewriting our social services protocols for handling foster kids and all of this. So we just have a connection. And as a result of that, Whole Services that I mentioned that provides services on behalf of the government have changed everything they do over to his protocols and his pedagogy. And his gig is he did his PhD in studying feral children. I'd never heard the term feral children. Do you guys know feral children? I'd never heard of feral children. They're kids that have been deprived, locked up in a situation with no stimulus whatsoever, locked in a closet, just really extreme deprivation. And he was able to go look at their brains. And when he was doing it, the increase in digital imaging, our knowledge of neurotransmitters and hormones and how our brain works has allowed him to start and really make some amazing conclusions. And so he recognized that these children in this extreme situation have a different brain. They do not have the same neurological architecture as we do, or some of us do. I mean, obviously it's very varied. But in their case, it's extreme. They only have the architecture to pump adrenaloids because they live in a fight and flight constantly. They never developed dopamine, serotonin, neural structures that would handle those things that regulate us and calm us. So they live in this wild state of terror, basically all the time, high anxiety, right? Well, you guys already know that that's something that's going on and has always gone on, but it's going on with our young people in particular, all these people with anxiety, and anxiety comes to depression in given time. So he looked at it and said, okay, So what's going on here? And what he has ascertained that when you're traumatized, your brain develops in a sequential manner. So he can pretty much pinpoint that if you were 2 years old, 3 years old, 6 months old, and you were traumatized, he can pretty much pinpoint what part of your brain is going to be affected. And then he applies, through what he's called brain mapping, an intervention that is appropriate for the part of the brain they're trying to heal. So it's pretty cutting edge stuff. It's really cool. And the reason I'm all pumped about him, because he's the big head that came out and said somatic sensory stimulus is an awesome way to regulate us. And one of the great ways to do that is drumming, dance, movement, those kinds of things. Awesome way. He's very quick to say, no, I don't know what you're going to do. I don't know what that looks like, because he's the scientist. But wow, it sure gave me still a lot of inspiration, because for 20 years, I've been going, this is good shit. Now I know why. This is good stuff, right? What's going on? And this is the way I understand it. This is the drummer's version of something that's far more complex. Sight, sound, taste, all of this information is coming through our senses. We're reviewing the environment around us. And as that comes in to our brain, then we start to build, it passes down to the next level of our neural system. So we have the neural system that's bringing in outside stimulus. Then that passes down to our internal neural network. And it says, okay, we got to breathe more because there's a lion, right? We got to physically now get more oxygen into the blood. And so all these internal neural systems kick into gear based on the information that's being delivered from the upper cortex of sight, sound, and taste. And as that happens, all of that is mediated by the middle brain stem and the base brain stem. Okay, so it mediates this incoming information and checks it against past stimulations that have resulted from an experience or a trauma, and see, if it recognizes that this could be a threat, or that it just doesn't have any neural patterns of activation, and so I don't know what this is. Again, you'll have this fear, anxiety response happening. If we access the third neural system, which is your somatic neural system, which is pressure on your body, pain in an organ or something, all of this stuff, walking is a very somatic kind of experience. All of that information accesses the brain is through the spine. Okay, and because it comes through the spine, it has ways that not ways, just the nature of the somatic nervous system is it doesn't go through that base stem and the mid stem, and it isn't mediated to some traumatic thing. And if it comes in, the stimulus comes in regular, predictable stimulus like this, whatever it is, walking, dancing, moving, then it calms the upper cerebral parts of the brain, which is where all your executive function is. So that little kid or adolescent or grown adult that is suffering with trauma and has gone to that response place, right, can mitigate that through regular patterned somatic activity. It starts to calm down the upper cerebral executive centers of your brain, because if you don't have access to those, that's where your focus is, that's where your attention is, that's where you are able to decipher verbal information. And if you're not living there and you're living in your brainstem, You're not there to try and reason or understand, you know. And the kids that I was working with at Hull, when they go off the deep end, they take them to a room, you know, with padded walls. You guys know about that. Just because they're gone, they're out of their minds, right? Until they calm down. So this aspect of the neurology of our bodies is what is the benefit when we drum and when we dance. When we drum, we produce dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, not just drum, you know, dance, movement, sports, biking. All of these kinds of things can have this effect, but one of the things that it releases is oxytocin, and oxytocin makes us trusting. Oxytocin is often more associated with the female reproductive system. Okay, well, if you're going to reproduce, it's probably good to, for a moment, let your guard down and make a connection to have that happen. Men produce it as well, not in the same quantities, but in both cases, it relaxes the brain and brings us into this place of trust. If you're trying to work with somebody and you're trying to do cognitive therapies, talk therapies, drum first. You know, if you create that space that is safe, if you're, you know, all of us are coming from places where we've got all this experience and probably have become pretty good facilitators already in our places of discipline. But, you know, if you create all of that, the drumming is going to produce the medicine. And the essence of it is, as I've described it to you, more complex than that. But after we've talked it through and discussed it, we're really not going to stay there. That's not, you know, tonight's the night. We're going to talk about these kinds of aspects about the neurology. And then we're drumming. Because the medicine is delivered, whether you know that serotonin is being produced or oxytocin, or that the midbrain is mediating and making these references to any trauma. It's good to have that knowledge, and many of you have it already. But I just don't want to get stuck there, right? So after this, it's the drumming. And so what I want to do is share with you a really good system that can allow you to take a group from here to here for a very positive, successful outcome. And the program is generative. So it's like a language, right? So we can start out simple, but if you just know the letters, then you can write the words, and then you can make sentences, and then you can tell stories. And there's no end to the complexity that you can put into that based on your skill level, what you're comfortable with, who you're using it with, you know, what's their comfort level. Are they with you for a long time? Do you have to keep growing a bit and offering them a bit more so that they're being challenged and coming back? So the system itself is, as I say, it's a formula, and it addresses a lot of these neurological issues. And there's lots of ways you can leverage those into the work you're doing. I'm going to say obviously because of the crowd I'm with. I'm going to guess. Okay, any thoughts, questions, considerations? Any aha moments? I really want to stress we are a learning circle. Okay? We're learning from each other here. We all come with this experience. We've all come with lots of great things to share to help us better, leave better informed. So please, if you have something, if you've got some experience you've had that you want to share with the group that you think is pertains to what we're doing and where we're going, please share it. Absolutely. Okay? All right. Now we go to the drum. Let's talk about the drum just for a moment. We're playing African drums. My good friend Stephen has had some experiences. Did you do djembes with the Nigerian fellow? Yeah.
Well, did you ask
Please.
the significance of how here.
Yeah, they are kind of but you'll find them in Indonesia. You'll find them in Pakistan.
Part of the
It's my vibe. Yeah, totally. Like if you wanna be fashionable, everybody better pick up a couple of these hats, right? Yeah. Wait till you see the rest of the outfit. So I just want to talk a little bit. This is just general information that I think it's good for us to have, and that is just some understanding. I always like to say especially with kids, I'll say, "Where do you think these drums come from?" Right? And they'll say Africa, and I'll say, "Okay, yeah, sure, these drums come from Africa." If you go home today and say to your mother or your father that these drums come from Africa, they're going to say, "No way. Is it a djembe or a gombe? Is it a dundun? Is it a songbon? Is it a kinkani? Is it a dumbek, a tarabuka? It's a tar. No, it's a sabar. No, it's a bizarre mazar." Right? They're all African drums. There's a million African drums. And so I say, if you go home and tell your mom and dad you played a stringed instrument, what are they going to think you played? So I just to make sure that we're able to at least share with the people we're working with a little bit of what we're playing. This is an African drum. Okay, and this drum is a modern version of a drum called a tar. And it actually has many names, but mostly it's North Africa. And Indian music has a lot of these frame drums, right? Do you remember the name? They have one big deaf. Is it a ass or a deaf? It's going to come to you at 3 a.m, right? Anyway, these drums are played by people who live in predominantly arid places. They're normally nomadic, so they're moving around. So this drum starts to serve very well their needs, because if you're living in the desert, there's not a lot of wood. If you're having to move around, you want something light. This probably isn't what you're gonna say. Come on, let's go. Put it on the camel. We're going. So again, they reflect the places that we have, where the people live and what resources they have and what lifestyle they have. Check this drum out. It's pretty cool if you haven't heard them. Funky drum, really funky drum. Rima makes this one. Yeah, they don't make it anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, but I have some others here that are traditional. So there's no tuning mechanisms. It's a natural skin. Funky drum. I have a friend who's the principal percussionist for the Calgary Philharmonic Orchestra, and he plays one of these. And the first time I ever saw him play it, see when I snap my finger, he puts 3 fingers. Boom, boom, chaka, boom, 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 boom. Fantastic. I saw him play it and I said, I have to learn. So this is a finger drum. That's the big message here. This is a finger drum. You can't even hit it with your hand and get sound. You have to kind of... Okay? It's called a tar, T-A-R, African drum. Totally different than most of the drums you're ever going to encounter, right? Then you have, of course, also, again, sort of from Egypt, but also around in this drum as well. It goes up into Jordan and then up into Iraq and Iran. They have different names. Do you guys recognize this one? Again, it's a goblet style drum. In places like Egypt, it's going to be from clay, and they'll call it a darbuka. Otherwise, it's typically known as a doumbek and made from metal. And then in Iran, they call it a zarb, and it's made from wood. All basically the same drum, just slight variations. And the point here is that this is played like this, underneath the arm. I'm not a darbuka player. When you hear them play, you go, oh yeah, that guy who taught the course, he wasn't a darbuka player. But here's another African drum. Okay. And then the last one I just want to quickly show you, because these are the drums you're going to sort of encounter, especially if people are coming to a drum circle. And that is an ashiko. And my friend Stephen may have come across these because this is Nigerian all the way.
First drum I built was a shiko.
Okay. Nice. Nice. You see the difference, right? This is just conical. This is the mother drum of the conga, which became the Latin style of playing. They put the lugs on them. The conga has a barrel shape. You can actually see them behind us here a bit. That barrel shape and the lugs are all a result of the slaves taking barrels off the ship and making drums to play. And of course, it wasn't just that they needed the medicine, but it was the way they prayed. It was the way they expressed their spiritual beliefs. The music was integral to everything they do. From birth to death, you have a rhythm and a song. And so these are the mother drums carved. This one's out of a solid piece of wood. And otherwise, the congas became the barrel shaped. There's also just some little interesting thing, and I should check the time because I could go on forever. And we need to do some drumming here before we go. The only thing I wanted to share is, traditionally speaking, they recognize that there's energy flowing when we play, and the way they describe this drum is all the energy. This is considered a male drum. I'm not totally sure that why. I have some understanding of why, but it's a male drum because energy flows from images of Father, fire, heaven, down through the top of the head, into the heart, out the hands, down into the ground. So all the energy is flowing in one direction, right? Mm-hmm. This drum's kind of considered more of a healing drum. Again, it's not that this drum isn't healing, but this is a balance between male and female, because it draws energy up from the Divine Mother, right? From those kinds of images, the Divine Feminine up, and the male coming down, meeting in the middle, and becoming this kind of balanced energy. Mm-hmm. Just interesting that that's how they perceived the drum and the music, at what levels they were sort of receiving the information and the medicine. Pretty interesting. And so you have this. This is called an ashiko, and it has a deeper sound versus, which is more in your face. So, all right, there it is. Now we play. First, we're all going to change. Everybody's got a drum in Zoomland? Hit that drum. Awesome. How you sit with the drum is really important, but it's also quite personal. If you're working with people that, again, have some disabilities or stuck in a wheelchair or something, then you're going to adjust, right? But for the most part, here's how I ask people to sit with their drums. Come to the edge of your chair, because if you're not on the edge, you're just taking up too much space. Also, this puts us in a place where we can breathe properly, right? Because we hold rhythm in our breath. So yeah, we want to be able to then let the drum rest on the calf of the legs. Oh, you should take, I'll get you a drum. Yeah, that's a cute little drum. That's a cute little drum. I'm going to get you just a little bigger drum here. Yeah, a little bit. I can't argue.
All right.
I do quite a bit of corporate work, and we do team building, and it's interesting. The same formula that I'm going to teach you guys, I use the same thing. I teach kindergartens, the same thing I teach CEOs. I tell them that too. But the narrative is totally different, right? So it's great. You can really adapt this. But we always are talking about leadership, and they all have I go around with the little drums this size. That's what I'm taking them. I get my drum out and I set it down. I go, now the first thing about leadership. Having a big drum can really help. All right, so awesome. We're in the right place. And if we have rings on and can take those rings off at this time, that would be super awesome. Just that your fingers will swell and your ring will bend and gangrene will set in, and I don't have the insurance for that. So, all right. Now, one of the things that I think is important is to share, and this is, if you've done drum circles before or taken, has anybody done any drum circle workshops? Just participated. Okay. Typically, and it's good, it's fine, but typically the mantra for drum circles is you don't need to know how to drum. And that's wonderful. Oh yeah, this is it. Thank you. And that's fair. That's okay, because that's the place that you don't have to know anything. And it's great because it encourages people to join, makes people feel comfortable. Okay. However, I personally think that knowing something about how to hit the drum so you don't hurt yourself as a facilitator and a leader is worth something. Doesn't mean you have to be perfect yourself, but you need to be able to communicate to your client or your kids or your students or whatever and say that don't do this because I don't want you to smash your hands. So I want to spend a little bit of time on technique. And I'm going to start right from the beginning of what I would be doing with any group. And I use, interesting enough, the Nigerian, you know Babatunde, Olatunji's work? Babatunde was really the godfather of the drum movement, I'd say, in North America. He arrived here in the late 50s, wanted to celebrate his own culture. He came from Nigeria. His father was a keeper of the songs, keeper of the stories, knew all the drums, the dances, and everything. So I don't want to say shaman because I'm not sure that's right, but he was like a griot. Yeah, he was held in very high esteem because he had all this knowledge. That was his father. So now we're talking early 1900s. So Baba comes to the United States and he wants to hang out and play his music with fellow Africans and discovers that there's no interest. It's the civil rights movement, and being black isn't necessarily a celebratory thing at that time in that way, right? So he ends up going to New York and opening up, because he sees all these young African, I don't know what the right term is now, they're just Americans, but African Americans. And these young boys seem a bit lost, and he wants to provide them with some roots, some legacy. So he starts a drum school in New York for kids, and his legacy is huge, right? All right. And he uses a language that was traditional. So I use that language because it really works well. Bring your hand to this position, please. Make sure that your hand is flat. Make sure your fingers are tight. Make sure your thumb is down and pointing at your nose. And I hope at this point in your lives, your nose is pointing at your thumb. Put your index finger in the air. Bring it down and touch the tip of your pinky. Now, I do this for body awareness. I want to make sure that as you follow your hand down, you're going to come to a little bone right down here. And when you find that little bone, brothers and sisters, I want you to say, "Ow!" You know why? Because if you smash this sucker right here on the edge of your drum, I call it the owl bone. Put your hand on the drum so your owl bone is just inside that rim. Now, this is going to present all kinds of differences for people depending on the size of the drum they have. For example, Janice's drum, right? If this is perfect. If you've got a drum like this, right? Okay, but if that happens, don't adjust by pulling your hand back. Make sure you're better to have the fingers going over the edge of the drum and keeping the palm on it, okay? Otherwise, you won't get the sound. So you have to just adjust. Everybody's going to have a different size of drum, and you just don't want them to really hurt themselves here. So we're right here, just inside the rim. Our fingers are tight, our thumb is down. Now, again, for body awareness, and if you've worked with young students, you know that if you ask a grade 2 or a grade 1, and I know that's not necessarily the people you'll be working with, but if you ask them to touch their elbow, they'll go, right? What do you call that? I'll figure it out. It's a great word. Where we know that our hand's here, but we don't have to see it, right? There's a word for it. I'm going to... Yeah, it is spatial awareness. It is spatial awareness. I'll have it. It's in the book. It's in the book. But it's just such a great word. You just want to throw it around, you know. Put your hand, your finger right here. The reason I'm doing it is I want to make sure that when you lift your hand up, you're bending at the elbow. All the movement is from the elbow down. From the elbow up is isolated. So you will see people doing this from their shoulder. They'll be activating from here. Or conversely, they'll be from here on the wrist. We want to activate from the bicep muscle. Okay, so this is the movement we're looking for. All right. Now, I really want to say that all of this isn't really about drumming. All of this isn't really about rhythm. You know what this is about? Listening. Yeah, listening. What a skill to develop. And we all know people that aren't good at it. And we know some people that are great at it. Okay, listening. I always am going to be testing your listening skills, all right? So here we go. Are you ready? We have one hand on the drum. We're putting our finger here. Again, just body awareness. Lifting, 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 lifting. Drop! Let that hand bounce off the drum. Lifting, 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 lifting. Drop! Nice. Keep those fingers tight. Lifting, 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 lifting. Drop! Perfect. Make sure you're sitting tall. Lifting, 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 lifting. Up. Make sure you're breathing. Lifting, 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 lifting. Oh, young grasshoppers. Nobody leaves the temple. Put your strong hand in the air. Notice I didn't say right or left. Just your strong hand in the air and say the word goon. This is always your strong hand. It's your bass note. Goon, goon, goon.
Good.
In my world, it's your big letter A. Goon, goon. Goon, goon.
Good.
Doon, doon. This is your weak hand. This is your first note in your drum scale. Doon, doon. Goon, goon. Goon, doon. Goon, goon, doon, doon, goon, doon. We're going to be okay, man. I was freaking here, but we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. All right. I'm going to say I sing. You must answer we sing. I will say I play. You must answer we play. Okay? Awesome. We're playing in the middle of our drum, just with our heel of our hand just inside. We're saying goon for our strong hand, doon for our weak hand. I sing.
We sing.
We sing. I play.
Play.
Goon, doon, goon, doon.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. Keep going, don't stop. Ding, 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 ding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hurry up and do it. Ding, 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 ding. Hey. 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 Ha. Ho. Yeah. Ha. Ha. Awesome work. All right. Whole bunch is going on there. Okay. When we activate our language center by saying it, and we combine it with our motor skills, the learning is so much deeper. This is a trick, right? Because if you say it, you can play it, kind of is the philosophy, and that's a very African way they learn their songs. You would have hung out with your grandfather, and you would have learned it by him singing it and saying it, and then you would play it. Problem is, if you have adolescents, forget it, right? They can be really tough to use it. People, I shouldn't just say adolescents, but in particular, getting people to use their voice can be challenging. So you kind of have to figure out where this fits in your presentation and figure out ways to encourage them to use their voice. And I usually do it by explaining why we're doing it. And it's usually enough to say, like, stay with me. I know this seems kind of childish or, but stay with me, because as we get more complicated in our rhythms, you're going to see why this really works, okay? A beady beady beat. A beady beady boot. Bodie bodie beat. Beat. I'm always priming my people without coming out and saying, call and answer, call and answer. That's the way we're learning. I just do it. I model it. They don't even know I'm grooming them. Can't use that word anymore, can you? That word's off the back. I am surreptitiously. So yeah, and it's fun, right? They get it. You find what you want, and then it becomes the rapport that you have with the people you're working with. Eventually it just they'll want to do it and they'll respond really well. Awesome. Let's just go around And I want to hear you do goon doon. And I'm going to go goon doon, goon doon, goon doon, goon doon. And then we're going to pass it over to Janice. And we're just going to go around one after time and over to here after Keitha. Then we'll come over to Jill. What I'm listening for is this is a relatively easy tone to make, but I'm just wanting to hear and you to hear, because when we're all playing together, it's hard to hear your drum. And I just want to make sure that you're making the right sound. So I go goon doon, goon doon. So yeah, that's okay. Say it before you play it. So just say goon doon, goon doon, goon doon, goon doon. Okay? Yes. Nice. Now, Janice, as you're playing, do you hear that there's a little bit of a when you're hitting the drum? And the trick here, that's what going first is all about. Yeah. They're all listening to this. Everybody's going, oh, okay, I'm not making that mistake. But what we're after a little bit is if you hit the palm, essentially, I'm going to say first, but it's not really true. It's almost at the same time. But listen to the difference. If I'm hitting it and releasing quickly, I get this. But if my fingers are just tipped forward a little and I come down, I lose that clear bass sound and I start to get this at its worst, right? So make sure your fingers are tight and that really where your felt sense of making this tone, it's really over the palm and a bit up into the finger, but your finger pads are just coming along for the ride, okay? Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's good. Now, if you can, I would bring that drum up.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah, so cross your legs, and you're going to literally let it sit on the calf of your leg. So let it come down a bit more. And you see how it's starting to rest on your heel?
Good or bad?
Good. Right? So now you're the Helum drum stand. And with you, yeah, perfect. That's what it's all about, is finding comfort. And if you bring your legs out, you flatten the drum. If you bring them back, you tip it down so you can get it exactly where you need it. Now listen to the sound you're going to get.
Good, good.
Nice. Do you hear the difference between your left hand and your right hand? So that's just practice, but you want to try and make those the same. So try one more time.
Good.
Mamma mia. Jill, are you ready?
I am.
We're just working our goons and our dunes.
Goon, doon, goon, doon.
I can't hear your drum particularly well.
Let's see. Maybe if I raise it up a little higher.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. Stand up. This. Okay. That better?
Let's have a listen.
Fall off the goon, doon, goon, doon.
Okay. I can't totally hear you. Like, not totally, I can't hear you. But I shouldn't say that because we could hear you hitting the drum, but I can't really hear the sound that you're getting.
Okay.
However, it'd be great. Yeah, if I could see you play it, that would be helpful too.
Okay, this is going to require a little effort here. Hang on.
Oh, perfect.
I'm up against the desk here, so I'm going to try not to.
You could even just hold it with one hand. I just want to see you get that release. Yeah, so make sure those fingers stay nice and tight. There you go. Nice. And you're basically, my sense is you're hitting that bass with your palm first, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. That's great, Jill. I can see it. So I'm going to live with that.
Okay.
Alrighty.
We're going to be bringing how far away we go.
Michelle, my bad. Oh my God, this guy's going to make me crazy.
All right. Hopefully you can hear this. Ready? Goon, doon, goon, doon.
Nice. Nice. Not sure. I can't see your hands, but I have this funny feeling. Are you getting off that drum as fast as you can? Really bouncing those hands off?
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I kind of thought I might have been, like, if we do this, it's very different than.
Okay.
So just try it again, and you want to get off that drum like it's a hot skittle.
Okay. Goon, doon, goon, doon. Better? No?
I'd like to. Yeah. It's okay. Like, really, it's tough for me totally to get the sound of the drum. But if you're lifting that, like letting that hand bounce off that drum, then you're going to get the sound. If you're in the right place and you're bouncing right off it, you're going to get the right sound.
Okay.
Okay. Try it with just one hand. Hold that drum up so I can see it and hit it with one hand.
All right. This is my strong hand.
Okay. Okay. It's good. It's good. We'll be back. All right. Tony.
Right.
And what kind of drum are you playing, Tony?
This is a Remo Tubano.
Okay, the Tabano. Okay, awesome.
All right. Let's see. Goon, doon, goon, doon.
Awesome. And that au natural.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. That's great. That's great. And I get that, at first it's hesitant to be saying goon, doon, right? It's
A little bit,
perfect.
yeah.
You'll get more used to it. And it'll serve us in the long run. Okay. Who's next?
Yeah.
Ah. Yeah.
Yes, Mom.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Goon, doon, goon, doon.
Nice. A little more relaxed. My sense is your hands a little bit tight, and you're doing. See this? My hands. It's interesting because, yeah, they're relaxed, but they're not. Right? Floppy. Nice. Good term.
Can I get
Sure.
goon, doon, goon, doon?
Yeah. Hitting looks to it a little bit like you're hitting your fingers first. I really want to see yeah, you hear that bass come out? Nice. Nice. That's great because you can hear as soon as if you can't hear it, that's the problem. But all you got to do is get it once and go, oh, okay, boom. And then your body will learn it. Your muscle memory will get you there. So absolutely. Everything's very relaxed.
Doon, 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 doon.
Same kind of thing. You hear your left hand is a little different than your right. So you want to just try and get it your right hand. It's nice big boom. So it's like anything. I'm sure even, right? My left hand's not working because it's not hooked up to my brain. So that's fine. That's great.
Goon, doon, goon, doon.
Nice. Baby food.
Goon, doon, goon, doon.
Same. And see how Steve's hands are literally, it's almost like the drum is bouncing them off like a trampoline, and a little bit if I may, yeah, and flex down a little bit into that drum. Gives you a little pop action. Nice.
Goon, doon, goon, doon.
Yep.
Oh.
Good, 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 good. I got
Yep. Yep, but mostly very good. All right, beautiful. Good, 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 good. Good, 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 good. Good, see. Keep your head flat. Keep it on drumming. Well, don't go slow. One, two, three, four. Let's end on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm not serious. I need it.
I love it. I love it. Anybody can end on 5. It's not how we roll. Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So we have Goon Doom. Now we're going to pull our hand back until just our fingers are on the drum. Our middle knuckle's inside the rim. Our bottom knuckle is outside of the rim. Okay. This is a technique that I use. There's other ways to do this with the open tone. You could be moving further in, and we'll talk more about that. You know, you could, but that's probably how are you higher up on the drum?
From the knuckle forward.
Okay. For your slaps as well? Okay. Okay, well then good. You're similar to me. And this is the way I teach it, and the reason I'm going is because if you're like a real djembe, you study the djembe and you study with the masters. You watch Mamadi Keita, who's now no longer with us, but probably was one of the best, most renowned djembe players. When he moves between his tones, you don't even see his hand move. Doesn't go in, doesn't go out. You can't even see what he does, and he gets. But you can see me do this. And he doesn't do anything. He says, I feel it. I just think it. And it changes his tone. And the reason I'm sharing that with you is because part of the reason that's a great way to hit the drum and get this further in is because you get a lot of leverage off the edge of the drum that gives you a higher velocity, and therefore you don't have to work as hard. Okay, I just want you to know that that's there. It's not really germane to where we're going and what we're doing, but I'd like you to know, I don't want you going out there and taking a drum lesson and go, well, the guy never taught me that. Okay, but for my purposes where I'm working, I'm not going to go into it because I'm not going to be there long enough. They don't need to, unless they want to study it, it's just not important. So coming back to here, instead of being inside like a pro, we're going to pull back here. And just our knuckles are there and your thumbs are out here. You should be making, in fact, I like to do this when I'm teaching little kids. Who's doing preschoolers here? Thought somebody was. Anyway. No. Yes, right. Thank you, Michelle. Perfect. So I like to always be testing the kids and make sure they're on the ball, right? And I tell them, I'm gonna mess you with you guys. Be guaranteed, I'm gonna trick you one way or the other. Anyway, we'll be working away, and I'll say to them, all right, if you're making the right position for our letter B sound, you should be making the shape with your hands, if you're in the right place, of a perfect square. Then I just hang out and they'll start going, hey, just a minute. It's a diamond or a triangle. Oh, good. You go to the front of the class. So this is our second tone. Strong hand in the air. Say the word go. Go, go, go. Second note in your drum scale, always your strong hand, tenor tone. Go, go.
go, go,
Do, do.
do, do,
Go, do.
go, go,
Go, do, go, do.
go, go,
Oh, yeah? You think you're good? Let's go. Go to 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 go. Ninjas. All of you ninjas. I sing.
We's best.
I play. This becomes like with when I have an opportunity, like if you're working with your people over time, this becomes like a mantra. Like as soon as every class, every time I go, I sing, we sing. And eventually it's just like bang, bang, bang. But it just is necessary to pull the focus down here like this, right? Especially if you've got, some lively bunch in your crew or maybe bouncing around a little bit, you want to go do, go do. Go do, go do. Keep it going, don't stop. Keep your fingers tight. Keep your wrist loose. Go, 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 go. Hey, hey, ha, ha, hey, ha, hey. Is everybody listening? It could be a trick. Is everybody listening? It's gonna be a trick. Chair. Let's see who I tricked. One, two, three, four. And outside, outside. Then inside, inside. Outside, outside. Inside, inside. Outside, outside. Inside, inside. Outside, outside. And in. And out. And in. And out. And in. And out. The man's lost his mind. Shake him out. Shake him out. All right. I like to have fun at the beginning. It gets everybody, they don't get so afraid of making a mistake. They begin to see that, yeah, we're just having fun. There's something in this, though, that I learned the hard way. And if you're dealing with kids, please forgive me. I keep saying kids. That's because where I spend most of my time. It really has no bearing on any population. But if you have a population that is susceptible to anxiety or susceptible to being easily overstimulated, it may not be the best thing to do, which most times, 9 times out of 10, just see the smiles that light up on yours too, right? We're going, that's crazy. That can put those kids over the top. And so sometimes when I recognize I have that population, or it may be wise to go, and slow down and let everybody. Otherwise, you could. I've experienced. I've overstimulated them. Now I can't get them back. They're just all nuts and crazy, right? But so be aware. You can use the same route that stimulates. You can go slow and come down. And so I also try and use physically my drum. So, when I'm trying to slow down, I go from the out down to here. Generally, if I'm going to stimulate, I go out and up, low to high. So really great way to modulate your crew, if you want to say that. All right. Good boom. Good no. We're going to pause here because it's 9:35. And if we don't pause now, it'll be 10:35. It's true, and tomorrow I will tell you that you feel free to, indicate to me that lunch was an hour and a half ago, and that maybe we should take a break, because I'm not good at keeping an eye on the time. We're gonna come back tomorrow, and we're gonna pick this up with the slap tone, okay? And again, this is a tone that I don't typically teach, but I think you need to know it because it'll let you command and project over your crew. Zoomland, how's everybody? Any questions? Anything? It's hopefully it's communicating to you. Okay, I'm getting some thumbs up. Good. All right, so remind me, because I may just decide we're doing something different, that we need to learn the slap. You could just gently go.
You hear it?
Oh yeah, get it.
You'll be.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm really grateful that you folks have come and we can share this time together. It's gonna be fun. All right. Sleep. You're so welcome.
You get to me.
Absolutely. You're absolutely welcome to leave it all. Credit cards, ID. And how was that, Melissa? With the drum there and
Actually, it worked really good. Tomorrow, like Mike was saying,
I'll get her in the chair.
yeah, I can get it to maybe just a regular chair for a little bit. It'd be a little bit easier.
okay.
I'll just keep the.
Okay. Okay.
Just for long days with
Yeah. And the other thing we can do, and I do, is put a strap around the drum, right? Then you're not holding it all the time, and we just tie it behind you, and it just sits there.
lots of different.
Yeah. So I've got straps. We can easily can do that.
Are we going to be doing just a drum bay, or are we doing other drums too?
Well, we'll work just on the djembe. Yeah. Although, in all fairness, Janice, the same techniques really are applied, other than the finger drum. Yeah, maybe a little bit different, but certainly the ashiko and stuff. And you're welcome to play other drums. So let me know if you say, I want to play the ashiko. You bet. No problem. All right. Yeah. If you want to, absolutely, you can play it. Yeah. See it. Just wonder if it's tuned. Yeah, it's good.
You did read actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and you may also say, can I try one in the middle, right? A smaller drum that could work for you as well. So, but yes, find out what works for you. We've got other drums and
stands.
And stands. Yeah, we have a stand you could use as well. Okay. Yeah, you bet. Okay. Yeah, you too. Have a good night. I'm going to sleep well, my friend. You bet. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to cook something up good. Yep.
I made the mistake of Sunday. I thought up I knew a shika some friend, and then it was pretty needing.
Right.
And so I'm like, I usually use a dough